Good morning, friends. So, after we have understood the properties of quadrilaterals and done quite a few sums, today we'll understand the midpoint theorem. The midpoint theorem is a very important theorem in mathematics, and once you understand this and remember this, most of your things will become easier. So, what actually is this midpoint theorem? So, let us draw a triangle. I want a triangle ABC. Now, what does this midpoint theorem state? It states the line joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle. So first let me take the midpoints of two sides of this triangle. Let E be the midpoint of AB and let F be the midpoint of AC. So the theorem states, it states that the midpoint, the line segment, so EF is our line segment, the line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle. So the line segment which is joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half of it. Means we have to show that the line segment EF which is joining the midpoint of AB and AC, so the line segment EF joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle. So we have taken which two sides? AB and AC. We have taken the midpoint of AB and AC. So the line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side, means it is parallel to the third side. This is the third side and half of it. So both things. The line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side. So which I have taken the midpoints of which two sides? I have taken these two sides and the midpoint. So I have to show this is parallel to the third side and half of it. Let us take a variation. Suppose I take this triangle. Let me call it PQR. Now to choose the midpoint of any two sides. Any two sides. So let us take the midpoint of QR and call it M, and the midpoint of PR and call it N. So I have taken the midpoint of QR as M and PR as N and I join them. So this line segment which is joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle, I have to show is parallel to the third side. Means now here we have to show MN is parallel to PQ and MN is half of PQ. So this is the midpoint theorem, a very important theorem. What does the theorem say? The line segment joining two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and also half of it. Okay, so this is the theorem we have to prove. I'm not going to write down the whole thing, we'll just go to the proof. Now for the proof, you'll have to do a little bit of construction. What you do, this is AB. So we'll draw a line parallel to AB. From C, we draw a line parallel to AB, which meets EF in D. Okay, so what you have done the construction, we drew a line parallel to AB. We drew a line purposely construction parallel to AB in such a way that EF extended meets at D. Okay. So first now let us write down the things given to us. What is given to us? A triangle ABC is given to us. Then we have E is the midpoint of AB. So if E is the midpoint of AB, then we can write midpoint means this side and this side is equal, AE equal to EB. Yes, E is the midpoint of AB, so A is equal to AB. And F is the midpoint of AC, it would mean AF equal to CF or FC. Okay, so this is given. We got a triangle ABC. E is the midpoint of AB means AE and EB are equal, and we have got AF and FC are also equal because they are midpoints. Now when we join the midpoints, then we have to show, or we have to prove that EF is parallel to BC and EF is also half of BC. Have you followed what is given? We are given triangle ABC where E is the midpoint of AB one side, so A is equal to EB. F is the midpoint of AC, so AF equal to FC. Now we have to prove that this line segment, which is joined by the midpoints of two sides, is parallel to the third side and even half of the third side. So for the proof, first with the construction, the proof. The first is the construction. Draw CD parallel to AB, or we can write draw a line parallel to AB which meets EF extended, the extended EF at D. So this is what we get. Okay. Now I want to rub this off because I need space. But now let us go to the proof. So first of all, look at triangle EAF and triangle DCF. Look at these two triangles. Okay? So you all see what is the construction. We drawn a line parallel to AB. So here we can even mention that CD is parallel to AB. Yes? We have drawn such a way that CD is parallel to AB. So this is what we get. Now look at triangle EAF and DCF. Okay. Now see what we are supposed to do. This angle and this angle will be equal, and you know the reason why. Angle EAF is equal to angle DCF, alternate angles. Because I drew the lines parallel, because I drew parallel lines, I drew these two parallel, the alternate angles are equal. Then AF equal to FC, which is given to us. Why it is given? Or we can write F is the midpoint. F is the midpoint of AC. Yes? So what have you got here? You have got this angle and this angle is equal, this and this side is equal, and even this angle and this angle is equal. And you know why. Angle AFE is equal to angle CFD. That is vertically opposite angles. So now we have got this and this angle equal, this side and this side equal, this angle and this angle equal. So what have you got? Yes, what have you got by ASA? And I can just write, therefore triangle EAF is congruent to triangle DCF by ASA. Now if these two triangles are congruent, their corresponding part should be equal. So this EA and CD should be equal. Therefore, EA equal to CD, CPCD. Congruent parts, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are equal. So EA equal to CD, but EA equal to EB or A equal to EB. So you got A equal to EB and EA equal to CD. Therefore, we have EB equal to CD because EA equal to EB. E is the midpoint. So we have got now what? We showed EA equal to CD, but BE equal to CD. So you got B equal to CD, and we had CD is parallel to AB. Now you can see AB, or you can call BE. So BE is parallel to CD because AB is parallel to the same line. So EB is parallel to CD. Now what you can recall from this? Here you can see EB is equal to CD also, and EB is parallel to CD also. 1 and 2. Look at both these things. From these two things, what do you get? Can you recall any theorem we did in the previous lectures? If two sides of a quadrilateral are parallel and equal, then it is a parallelogram. So we have therefore EBCD is a parallelogram. Which property have we used here? In a quadrilateral, when the opposite sides are parallel and equal, it forms a parallelogram. So EBCD is a parallelogram. If EBCD is a parallelogram, it will mean that ED is parallel to BC. ED is parallel to BC. But ED is also EF, so we have EF is parallel to BC. So the first result we have proved, EF is parallel to BC. Now for the second result, EBCD is a parallelogram, so we have ED equal to BC. We have got ED equal to BC. Now again we have proved this triangle and this triangle both are equal, they are congruent. So the corresponding sides are congruent. So because they are congruent, you can even write because they are congruent. Here we showed they are congruent. Therefore also EF equal to FD by CPCT. Okay, can you see it or not? I'll write here only. We'll write it here. EF equal to FD by CPCT. So you can see when I prove the triangles congruent, how many things I have shown? The triangles are congruent. So this side and this side is equal, this side and this side is equal. So EF equal to FD. Now ED equal to BC. But what is ED? ED is EF plus FD, which is equal to BC. But EF equal to FD, so EF plus EF equal to BC, or twice EF equal to BC, which implies EF equal to half BC. This is the second result also. So again, let us repeat the theorem and understand the theorem first. The proof later on, understand the theorem carefully. The line segment joining two sides of a triangle. See, look at EF. So when I say line segment, I mean EF. The line segment joining two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half of the third side. So I showed you in the diagram below also. You can even draw this two. Suppose I draw, let us say, the midpoint of this two is G. Yes, the midpoint is G. So if I take FG, then the line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half of it. So if F is the midpoint of AC and G is the midpoint of BC, then FG is parallel to AB and half of AB. So you can take any two midpoints. So the theorem states the line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half of the third side. So again I will tell you how I proved it. I drew a line parallel to AB, extended EF which meets at D. So I got this line. Then I took triangle A is F and DCF. EAF and DCF. Here this angle and this angle is equal because I drew parallel lines, alternate angles. This side and this side is equal because F is the midpoint, and this angle and this angle is equal because they are vertically opposite. So these two triangles are congruent. Because these triangles are congruent, the corresponding sides are also congruent. So EA equal to CD and EF equal to FD. Now EA equal to CD, but EA equal to EB because E is the midpoint, so EA equal to EB. But EA equal to CD and EA equal to EB, so EB equal to CD. So these opposite sides are equal and we have also drawn them parallel. So these opposite sides are equal and parallel. So this is a parallelogram. So EDCB is a parallelogram. So ED is parallel to BC. but ED contains EF, so EF is also parallel to BC. So we got the first result, EF is parallel to BC. Now, these two sides we showed are equal. So F is the midpoint. So EF is half of ED, but ED equal to BC, so EF is also half of BC. So we have shown the midpoint joining the two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half of it. Now let us look at one application of the midpoint theorem. Take any quadrilateral A, B, C, D. We can see ABCD is a quadrilateral. Now we take the midpoints of ABCD as P, the midpoint here Q, the midpoint here R, and the midpoint here S. So the first sum is very simple here. We are given a quadrilateral ABCD. Now quadrilateral has no property except the angle sum property. The four angles of a quadrilateral add up to 360, that's it. But I have taken a quadrilateral ABCD and the midpoints of all the four sides. So midpoint of AB is P, of BC is Q, of CD is R, of AD is S. We have to prove PQRS is a parallelogram. So ABCD is a quadrilateral, but we still have to prove that PQRS is a parallelogram. So how do we prove that? Very simple. First you will join the diagonal BD. Okay. Now when you draw the diagram BD, what you can take, look at triangle BCD. So look at triangle BCD. If you look at triangle BCD, then we are given Q is the midpoint of BC, R is the midpoint of CD. And the theorem states, midpoint theorem states, the line segment joining the midpoint of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side, means RQ will be parallel to BD and even half of it. So RQ is parallel to BD, RQ is half of BD. Okay? Now look at triangle BAB or BAD. Look at triangle BAD, the triangle below. Again, this is the midpoint, this is the midpoint. So the line segment joining the midpoint is parallel to the third side and half of it. So SP is parallel to BD and SP is half of BD. So here we can end the sum. Now we have what? RQ parallel to BD, SP parallel to BD. So RQ is parallel to SP. RQ is half of BD and SP equal to half of BD. So we can write RQ is parallel to SP and RQ equal to SP. So the opposite sides of this quadrilateral are parallel and equal. So automatically it forms a parallelogram. If you do not want to do that, you can also do this. RQ equal to SP, then you can join AC. So SR is half of AC, PQ is half of AC. So SR and AQ is equal. So opposite sides are equal. Even then you can show it is a parallelogram. So this is the application of the midpoint theorem. A very easy first sum. Okay. Now let us do one more sum. Okay, before we change the sum, we'll have to see something else also. Whereas the sums can be asked in many different ways. So you have understood one thing here. What is very clear to you? One thing very clear to you is that no matter what kind of quadrilateral we have, when we join the midpoints of the quadrilateral, it always forms a parallelogram. Yes, it is clear to us now. No matter what type of quadrilateral we have, whenever you join the midpoints of a quadrilateral, they always make a parallelogram. And if you join the midpoints of the opposite sides, say RP and SQ, they will bisect each other. Why they will bisect each other? Because you know the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. But how can the sum can be asked to you? The sum can be asked in a different way. For example, they will only give you the quadrilateral AB. What is given to you? Only the quadrilateral AB. So you are given a quadrilateral ABCD, and the midpoints PQRS of the corresponding sides, okay, respectively. And they will tell you, show that the midpoints of the opposite side, okay, the line segments formed by joining midpoints of the opposite side bisect each other. So what is the question here? ABCD is a parallelogram. Sorry, ABCD is a quadrilateral with midpoints PQ, PQRS respectively of sides AB, BC, CD, DA. Show that the line segments joining the midpoints of the opposite side, means when you join R2P and S2Q, the line segment joining the midpoints of opposite sides bisect each other. For this sum also, you have to first show PQRS is a parallelogram, which I showed. So once you show PQRS as a parallelogram, then automatically the diagonals of a parallelogram will bisect each other. So the first sum was direct, the second sum is not direct. In the second sum they told you the quadrilateral, you are joining the midpoints of the opposite sides, show that they bisect each other. Now one easy way to do was I told you, show that PQR is a parallelogram and then show the diagonals of a parallelogram always bisect each other. So this is the indirect sum, the previous sum was a direct sum. In this sum, we are given a rhombus. We are given a rhombus ABCD. So ABCD is a rhombus. So we have AB is equal to BC equal to CD equal to D. Okay. We are given ABCD is a rhombus. And we join the midpoints of this rhombus of the side. So we can PQRS. We have to show PQRS is a rectangle. So last time we were given a quadrilateral and we showed PQRS as a parallelogram. This time we are given a rhombus ABCD. We have joined the midpoints. We have to show PQRS is a rectangle. Now the other proof remains the same. We already know what we proved previously. SP is equal to half AC and even PQ equal to half AC. So SP equal to PQ. Okay, midpoint theorem. Similarly, SP is equal to RQ. SP equal to half AC. PQ, RQ is equal to half AC. So SP equal to RQ. So SP and RQ are equal. Similarly, SR and PQ are equal. We can show the same thing we did in the previous sum. So I'm not going to repeat it. So we have PQRS is a parallelogram. Here it is fine. But we have to show it is also a rectangle. To show it is a rectangle, we have to show that the angles are 90 degree, or you can show that one angle is 90 degree. Now, from the midpoint theorem, we also learned SR is parallel to PQ and they both are parallel to BD. Okay? So SP is parallel to RQ. You can see why midpoint theorem. SP is parallel to BD, RQ is parallel to BD, so SP is parallel to RQ. So SP, RQ and BD all are parallel. Okay, result 1. And in same way, we have got SR is parallel to BQ, not BD, it is AC. So we have got SR parallel to PQ, parallel to AC, also SP parallel to SR. Okay, we got SR, so now we are going to take SP. SP parallel to RQ, SP parallel to RQ, parallel to BD. So this is result 2. So see what is given to us again. The rhombus ABCD, join the midpoints. So any quadrilateral, when you join the midpoints of any quadrilateral, you get a parallelogram. We showed in the previous sum. Here we are given a rhombus. A rhombus is also quadrilateral. So when you join the midpoints, you can see the previous sum. You can easily prove PQRS is a parallelogram. So all clear till here. But we have to show it is a rectangle. For the rectangle, this parallelogram should have at least one angle 90 degree. But here what we have proved, that SR is parallel to PQ and both are parallel to AC. SP is parallel to RQ and both are parallel to BD. But we have AC is perpendicular to BD. Why? Why is AC perpendicular to BD? Because in a rhombus, diagonals, what do diagonals do in a rhombus? Bisect at right angles. I hope you remember. In a rhombus, a diagonal bisect at right angle. So, BD is perpendicular to AC. Now, if BD is perpendicular to AC, it means even SP is perpendicular to AC. Clear? We have got AC is perpendicular to BD. So, if BD is perpendicular to AC, then even SP is perpendicular to AC. So, SP is perpendicular to AC. But SP is parallel to BD, so SP is parallel to SR also. Am I getting clear to you? Are you following what I am saying? Again, see carefully. PQRS is a parallelogram that we proved. So we proved SR is parallel to PQ is parallel to AC. Result 1. SP is parallel to RQ is parallel to BD. Result 2. But AC is perpendicular to BD because in a rhombus the diagonals bisect at right angles. So AC is perpendicular to BD, but BD is parallel to SP. So SP and AC, they both are also perpendicular. So SP and AC are perpendicular, but SR and AC are parallel. So SP and SR will be perpendicular. And hence we show that SR and SP is perpendicular. Similarly, you can show all of them are perpendicular. They form right angles, and hence PQRS is a rectangle. So I am going to end here. So what have we done here? We have done quadrilaterals, and in this particular lecture we have even done the midpoint theorem. Now putting both of them together, you see the sums are becoming very easy now. So midpoint theorem is a very important theorem. I want you to revise it one more time and finish the exercise by making use of it. So this is also the end of the chapter, but we'll practice a few more sums so that we get thorough with it. Okay? So now I want you to again revise this theorems, go through all the lectures again. First finish this 5th lecture today and then simultaneously go back from the lecture 1. Because there are only 5 lectures for this chapter, quite an easy chapter, understand them in detail. If you have an issue, you can go to the previous chapter of triangles and first start with it. There is ample time for revision, so you don't need to worry, no need to panic, do your revision properly. I'll end here, thank you.